Welcome to the 12th standard zoology class, unit 1, chapter 3, reproductive health. Reproductive health represents a society with the people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs. Healthy people have healthier babies and they take care of the families and they contribute more to the society and community. The reproductive system is a complex system. It is controlled by the neuroendocrine system and hence it is necessary to take important steps to protect from various infectious diseases and injuries. Next we are going to learn about the need for reproductive health, problems and strategies. The family planning program was started in the year 1951. The family planning program was started in the year 1951 and these programs were popularly known as reproductive and child health care. Popularly these programs were known as what? Reproductive and child health care. So the important tasks carried out by these programs, the important tasks carried out under these programs are first one, creating awareness and providing medical assistance to build a healthy society. Creating awareness and providing the medical assistance to build a healthy society. And then second one, introducing the sex education in the schools. To provide information about the adolescents and adolescents related changes. So what is the first task? First one, to create the awareness and provide the basic medical assistance to build a healthy society. And second one, introducing the sex education in the schools as well as to provide information about the adolescents and adolescents related changes. Then third one, to take care of the pregnant woman, creating awareness to take care of the pregnant woman, postnatal care of mother and the child, and then the importance of the breastfeeding. The last one, encouraging and supporting the governmental and the non-governmental agencies to provide information or to methods to provide improve upon the existing methods of the birth control. So what are the major tasks? First one is creating awareness and providing medical assistance to build a healthy society. Second one, introducing the sex education in the schools to provide information about the adolescents and adolescents related changes. And then third one is to take care of the pregnant woman, postnatal care of mother and the child, and the importance of the breastfeeding. The last one, encouraging and supporting the governmental and non-governmental agencies to identify new methods to improve upon the existing method of the birth control. Next we are going to learn about the amniocentesis. So this amniocentesis is a prenatal technique. It is used to determine any chromosomal abnormalities, to find out any chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. So what is amniocentesis? Amniocentesis is a prenatal technique. It is used to find out any chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. But it may lead to the mischance to determine the sex of the fetus. So once if the sex of the fetus is known, there may be a chance of female infanticide and female feticide. So what is a female feticide? Killing the fetus or the female child in the mother's womb. Killing the female fetus in the mother's womb, that is known as what? Female feticide. Then what is a female infanticide? Killing the female child after her birth. Killing the female child after her birth, that is known as what? Female infanticide. So this have resulted in imbalance in the sex ratio. So what is an amniocentesis? It's a prenatal technique to find out any chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. But it is banned. Why? Because it is used to determine the sex of the fetus. So if the sex of the fetus is known, there may be a chance of female feticide and female infanticide. So what is a female feticide? Killing the female fetus, that is killing the female in the mother's womb itself. That is known as what? Female feticide. Then what is a female infanticide? Killing the female child after her birth. That is known as what? Female infanticide. So this have resulted in the imbalance in the sex ratio. Next we are going to learn about what are the various measures or steps taken by the government to prevent the female feticide and female infanticide. So what is a female feticide? Aborting the female in the mother's womb, or killing the female fetus in the mother's womb, that is known as what? Female feticide. Then what is a female infanticide? Killing the female child after her birth, that is known as what? Female infanticide. So the first one is a PCPNDT, that is a preconception prenatal diagnostic test. Say the term PCPNDT, preconception prenatal diagnostic act. So the main aim of this act to prevent the identification of the sex, to ban the identification of the sex, and to prevent the use of the diagnostic tests, that is amniocentesis test, to prevent the abortion of the fetus. The next one is a POSCO Act, that is a prevention of children from sexual offences. Then what are the various measures are taken by the government to prevent female feticide and infanticide? So first one is a provision of better nutrition, education, protection and empowerment of girls by eliminating the differences in the sex ratio, improving the nutrition and educational status. The Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act and the changes in the criminal law based on the recommendations of Justice Verma Committee in the year 2013. So the main aim of this committee, creating a safe and secure environment for both females and males. Next we are going to learn about population explosion. What is a population explosion? Increase in the population. That is known as what? Population explosion. What are the reasons for the population explosion? Think and say. So the first reason, the better living conditions. Then second one, improved medical facilities or improved health conditions. These are the two reasons which increases the population. That is, it reduces the mortality rate. Mortality rate means what? Death rate. So then how we can able to control the population? Only solution is the birth control. You might have heard the slogans like Naam Iruvar, Namak Iruvar, Naam Iruvar, Namak Oruvar. So advertisement by the government in the media as well as posters. There are incentives. What do you mean by incentives? Incentives should be given to the couples with the small families. Then creating awareness to the people having the small families. Next we are going to learn about the birth control. So what is a population explosion? Increase in the population is known as what? Population explosion. The only solution to control the population explosion is the birth control. So the voluntary use of contraceptive procedures to prevent the fertilization or to prevent the implantation of the fertilized egg or ovum in the uterus, that is known as what? Birth control. It is a voluntary use of contraceptive procedures to prevent the fertilization. What is a fertilization? The fusion of male and the female gamete, or to prevent the implantation of the attachment of the fertilized ovum in the uterus is known as what? Birth control. So the contraceptive methods are of two types. One is a temporary and second one is a permanent. So in the temporary, natural method, chemical method, mechanical method and hormonal method. So in the permanent control, first one is a vasectomy in the male and tubectomy in the female. Then this contraceptive method should be eco-friendly, safe with the less side effects. Next we learn about the natural method. So the natural method, it prevents the meeting of the sperm with the ovum. Naturally, it prevents the meeting of the sperm with the ovum. So the first one is an periodic abstinence. So when the ovulation takes place at the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. So what is ovulation? The release of ovum from the ovary, that is known as what? Ovulation. So the ovum survives for about 2 days. The ovum survives for about 2 days and then the sperm remains alive in the female reproductive tract for about 72 hours. So during this period, the coitus is to be avoided. So what is a ovulation? The release of ovum from the ovary is known as what? Ovulation. When the ovulation takes place at the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. So the ovum survives for about 2 days and the sperm remains alive in the female reproductive tract for about 72 hours. During this time, coitus is to be avoided. The next one is a lactational amenorrhea. So what is a lactational amenorrhea? The delayed in the ovarian cycle, or the menstrual cycle, that is known as what? Lactational amenorrhea. So the menstrual cycle resumes or reappears after as early as 6 to 8 weeks from parturition. So what is a parturition? The release of fetus from the uterus. The release of fetus from the uterus, that is known as what? Parturition. The menstrual cycle resumes as early as 6 to 8 weeks from the parturition. So the normal menstrual cycle or the ovarian cycle may be delayed for 6 months due to the lactational amenorrhea, that is due to the breastfeeding. So here it stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete the more prolactin hormone, so which suppresses the gonadotropin releasing hormones. The delayed in the ovarian cycle or menstrual cycle, that is known as what? Lactational amenorrhea. During the breastfeeding, it stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete more prolactin. So the release of prolactin hormone, which suppresses the gonadotropin releasing hormone, which depresses or delays the ovarian cycle or the menstrual cycle. The delayed ovarian cycle or menstrual cycle is known as what? Lactational amenorrhea. Next we are going to learn about the barrier method. So in the barrier method, first one is a chemical barrier, hormonal barrier and oral contraceptives. So in the barrier method, the ovum and sperm are prevented from meeting so that fertilization does not occur. So what is a fertilization? The fusion of male and the female gamete is known as what? Fertilization. So what happens in the barrier method? The ovum and sperms are prevented from meeting. The next we'll learn about the chemical barrier. Tablets, jellies, cream are used as a chemical agents that inactivate the sperms in the vagina. Then hormonal barriers, it prevents the ovaries from releasing the ova and thickens the cervical fluid, that is in the cervix, which keeps the sperm away from the ovum. Then oral contraceptives, pills are used as to prevent the ovulation. What is a ovulation? The release of ovum from the ovary is known as what? Ovulation. By inhibiting the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So these pills may contain the progesterone and estrogen hormone. Sagili, S-A-H-E-L-A. Sagili is a contraceptive pill. It is introduced by the Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow. Then if the pills are produced in a non-steroidal preparation, if the pills are produced in a non-steroidal preparation, that is known as what? Centichromine. 2-mark question. What is centichromine? Non-steroidal preparation of pills is known as what? Centichromine. Next we'll learn about the intrauterine devices. So these intrauterine devices are inserted by medical experts in the uterus through the vagina. These intrauterine devices are inserted by the medical experts in the uterus through the vagina. So the main aim of these intrauterine devices, it increases the phagocytosis of the sperms within the uterus. So what is the meaning of the word phagocytosis? Swallowing, engulfing or consuming. So it swallows the sperms. So it increases the phagocytosis of the sperm within the uterus. The first one is on copper releasing intrauterine devices. First one is on copper T 380, copper T, Nova T, copper T 380 Ag and multiload 375. So this copper releasing intrauterine devices, it releases free copper and copper salts into the uterus, thereby it suppresses the sperm motility. What is the motility? Movement. It releases the copper salts into the uterus, thereby it prevents the movement of the sperm. Then next one is a hormonal releasing intrauterine devices. First one is a progesterone and LNG20. They are often called as a hormonal intrauterine devices. So this increases the viscosity. Viscosity means what? Thickness. It increases the thickness of the cervical fluid. Thereby it prevents the entry of the sperm. Then the next one is a non-medicated intrauterine device. It is made up of plastic or stainless steel. Next we learn about the permanent birth control. So what are the two types of permanent birth control? First one is a tubectomy and the next one is a vasectomy. Say that term, tubectomy and vasectomy. So this tubectomy is a permanent birth control in the female. The tubectomy is a permanent birth control in the female where both the ends of the fallopian tube, both the ends are a small portion of the, both the ends of the fallopian tube are cut off and tied through a small incision on the abdomen or through the vagina. The tubectomy is a permanent birth control in the female where both the fallopian tubes, a small portion of the fallopian tubes are cut off and tied through a small incision on the abdomen or through the vagina. Then a vasectomy is a permanent birth control in the male. Here the vas deferens are cut off and tied through a small incision on the scrotum. It prevents the entry of sperms into the urethra. What is a tubectomy? Is a permanent birth control in the female. The vasectomy is a permanent birth control in the male. So what is a permanent birth control? It prevents the transfer of gametes and prevents the conception. Then a tubectomy is a permanent birth control in the female where the small portion of the fallopian tube are cut off and tied through the incision in the abdomen or through the vagina. Vasectomy is a permanent birth control in the male. The vas deferens are cut off and tied through a small incision on the scrotum. It prevents the entry of sperms into the urethra. So the next topic is a medical termination of pregnancy. The termination of pregnancy in a non-surgical method is the medical termination of pregnancy. So aborting the fetus in the first trimester. What is the first trimester? That is in the first 3 months up to the 12 weeks is safe. The abortion of the fetus in the second trimester is more risk because the fetus becomes intimately connected with the maternal tissue. The abortion of fetus in the second trimester is more risky because the fetus is more connected with the maternal tissue. Then the government of India legalized this MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, in the year 1971 with the government of India legalized medical termination of pregnancy in the year 1971 with certain medical necessities and for the social consequences with a certain restrictions like determination of the sex as well as for the illegal female feticide. Next we are going to learn about the sexually transmitted diseases or venereal diseases or reproductive tract infections or commonly called as sexually transmitted infections. So this sexually transmitted diseases, it transferred from person to person during intimate contact with the during intimate sexual contact with the infected person. The diseases like hepatitis B and HIV can transfer from person to person during the sexual contact or else sharing the things with the infected persons like sharing the needles, then surgical instruments, then a blood transfusion or from infected mother to the fetus. Then a bacterial sexually transmitted infections. First one is a gonorrhea. Say the term gonorrhea, syphilis, chancroid, chlamydiasis, lymphogranuloma venereum. Say the term gonorrhea, syphilis, chancroid, chlamydiasis, lymphogranuloma venereum. All these are the bacterial sexually transmitted infections. Then a viral sexually transmitted infections, genital herpes, genital wasp, hepatitis B and AIDS. Then a protozoan sexually transmitted infections, trichomonasis. Then a fungal sexually transmitted infections, candidiasis. So here this bacterial diseases, protozoan diseases, fungal diseases can be treated with the antibiotics, but this viral diseases we can give the treatment to the symptoms, but it cannot be purely treated. Next we will learn about the bacterial diseases. The first one is gonorrhea. Say the term gonorrhea. Here the cause, it is caused by the Neisseria gonorrhea. The gonorrhea is caused by the Neisseria gonorrhea. The symptoms are, it affects the urethra, rectum, throat and the cervix of the female. Then a pain and the pus formation in the genital tract. Then incubation period is for 2 to 5 days. Then a syphilis, it is caused by the Treponema pallidum. There are 3 stages are there: primary stage, secondary stage and tertiary stage. So in the primary stage, there is a painless ulcer on the external reproductive genital tract. Then a secondary stage, swollen joints, then a skin lesions, then a tertiary stage, ulcer, chronic ulcer on the nose, then a loss of movement, then heart problems and gummas. That is a non-cancerous growth. Then incubation period is for 10 to 90 days. Then chlamydiasis, say the term chlamydiasis, Chlamydia trachomatis. Chlamydia trachomatis. It affects the cells of the columnar epithelium, urinogenital tract, respiratory tract and conjunctiva. So what's a conjunctiva? Inflammation in the conjunctiva, that is in the eyes. Then incubation period is for 2 to 3 weeks. Then a lymphogranuloma venereum. Say the term lymphogranuloma venereum. It affects the urethra. Urethritis, inflammation of the urethra, ulceration on the genital elephantiasis. The incubation period is also 2 to 3 weeks. So what are the bacterial diseases? Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydiasis, lymphogranuloma venereum. The causative agent for gonorrhea is Neisseria gonorrhea, syphilis, Treponema pallidum, chlamydiasis, Chlamydia trachomatis, lymphogranuloma venereum, Chlamydia trachomatis. Next we will learn about the viral sexually transmitted infections. So the first one is genital herpes. Say the term genital herpes. It is caused by the herpes simplex virus. The genital herpes is caused by the herpes simplex virus. So the symptoms are sores on vulva, that is vagina and the urethra. The incubation period is for 2 to 21 days. The genital warts, it is caused by the human papilloma virus. It causes tumor on the external genitalia tract as well as on the cervix. The incubation period is for 1 to 8 months. Then hepatitis B, it is caused by the human hepatitis B virus. It is caused by the hepatitis B virus. Fatigue means what? Tired, jaundice, then a fever, stomach pain, then a liver failure or liver cirrhosis, that is cancer on the liver. Then incubation period is for 30 to 80 days. Then AIDS, acute immunodeficiency syndrome, it is caused by the human immunovirus. Then enlarged lymph nodes, prolonged fever, diarrhea, then weight reduction, then night sweating. The incubation period is for 2 to 6 weeks or even more than up to 10 years. So what are the viral diseases? Genital herpes, genital warts, hepatitis B and AIDS. This genital herpes is caused by the herpes simplex virus. Genital warts is caused by the human papilloma virus. Hepatitis B is caused by the hepatitis B virus. Then AIDS is caused by the human immunovirus. So next we will learn about the fungal sexually transmitted infection. So first one is candidiasis. Say the term candidiasis. It is caused by the Candida albicans. It is caused by the Candida albicans. So here it attacks the mouth, throat, intestinal tract and vagina. It causes vaginal itching, vaginal discharge pain during the urination. So what is the fungal sexually transmitted infection? First one is candidiasis. It is caused by the Candida albicans. Next we learn about the protozoan disease, trichomoniasis. Say the term trichomoniasis. It is caused by the Trichomonas vaginalis. It is caused by the Trichomonas vaginalis. The protozoan disease, trichomoniasis. It is caused by the Trichomonas vaginalis. Vaginitis, inflammation of the vagina. It causes a greenish yellow vaginal discharge, itching, inflammation of the urethra, that is known as what? Urethritis. Enlargement of the prostate gland in the male, that is known as what? Prostatitis. Then incubation period is for 4 to 28 days. So next we will learn about the cervical cancer. So this cervical cancer, it is caused by the human papilloma virus. One mark question. The cervical cancer is caused by the human papilloma virus. It causes the abnormal growth of the cervical cells. The symptoms are the pelvic pain, increased vaginal discharge, abnormal vaginal bleeding, the risk factors having multiple sexual partners, then prolonged use of the contraceptive pills. Then at this cervical cancer, it can be diagnosed as by Papanicola smear with the human papilloma virus test. Papanicola smear with human papilloma virus test, X-ray detection, CT scan and MRI scan. Then treatment, radiation therapy, surgery and chemotherapy. So what is the one mark question? The cervical cancer is caused by the human papilloma virus. It causes the abnormal growth of the cervical cells. For the cervical cancer, screening is recommended for women above 30 years once in a year. So this cervical cancer, it can be prevented with the vaccination. Then a primary prevention begins with human papilloma virus vaccination of girls aged 9 to 13 years before they become sexually active. Then there is a change in the modification, the lifestyle can help in preventing the cervical cancer. Then healthy diet, then avoiding tobacco usage, then preventing early marriages, then practicing monogamy. What is a monogamy? Having sex with a single partner, that is known as what? Monogamy. Then regular exercises, they minimize the risk of the cervical cancer. Last we learnt about the reproductive health, amniocentesis, then female feticide. What is a female feticide? Killing or aborting the female in the mother's womb, that is known as what? Female feticide. Then female infanticide, killing the female child after her birth, that is known as what? Female infanticide. Population explosion, increase in the population is known as what? Population explosion. Then birth control methods, temporary methods and permanent methods. The permanent methods are vasectomy and the tubectomy. Vasectomy is a permanent birth control in the male and tubectomy is a permanent birth control in the female. Then medical termination of pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases and cervical cancer.
நம்ம இந்த கிளாஸில் நிறைய டாபிக்ஸ் பார்த்தோம். ஃபீமேல் இன்ஃபான்டிசைட், ஃபீமேல் ஃபீட்டிசைட், மெடிக்கல் டெர்மினேஷன் ஆஃப் ப்ரெக்னன்சி, cervical கேன்சர். நான் இன்னும் உங்ககிட்ட எந்த டாப்பிக்கை பற்றினும் தெளிவாக பேசணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்னா போஸ்கோ ஆக்ட், பெண்களுக்கு எதிரான பாலியல் வன்முறை. நம்ம நாட்டில் தான் பெண்களை தெய்வமாக வணங்குகிறோம். நம்ம நாட்டில் தான் பெண்களுக்கு எதிரான வன்முறை செயல்களும் குற்றங்களும் அதிகமாக இருக்குது. சிறு வயது முதலே ஆண் குழந்தையாலும் சரி பெண் குழந்தையாலும் சரி நல்ல தொடுதல் என்ன கெட்ட தொடுதல் என்ன சொல்லி கொடுத்து வளர்க்கணும். நம்ம பெண் பிள்ளைகளுக்கு மாடஸ்டாக ட்ரெஸ் பண்ண சொல்லி கொடுப்போம், எப்படி ட்ரெஸ் பண்ணணும், எப்படி பேசணும், எப்படி பழகணும், அப்படியெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுப்போம். அதேமாதிரி ஆண் பிள்ளைங்களும் சரி பெண்களை எப்படி மதிக்கணும், எப்படி பார்க்கணும், அவங்கள மரியாதை எப்படி நடத்தணும் என்பது சிறு வயதிலே நம்ம அனைவருமே சொல்லி கொடுத்து வளர்க்கணும். கவிமணி சொல்லியிருக்காரு, மங்கையராய் பிறப்பதற்கே நல்ல மாதவம் செய்திட வேண்டும் அம்மா. அந்த மாதிரி பெண்களாய் பிறப்பதற்கே நாம் ஒரு தவம் செஞ்சுருக்கணும். எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச ஒரு பாரதியோட கவிதை, நிமிர்ந்த நன்னடையும் நேர்கொண்ட பார்வையும் நிலத்தில் யாருக்கும் அஞ்சாத நெறிகளும் திமிர்ந்த நாண செருக்கும் இருப்பதால் செம்மை மாதர் திரும்புவதில்லையாம். பெண்கள் தன்னம்பிக்கையோட தன்னோட வெற்றியை நோக்கி நடை போடணும். We need women who are so strong, they can be gentle, so educated, they can be humble, so fierce, they can be compassionate, so passionate, they can be rational, and so disciplined, they can be free. A woman is the full circle. Within her is a power to create, nurture, and transform. Thank you, children.